I'm gonna make it round this way, and then I'm gonna flatten the faceplate and hopefully not catch anything in it. You can say ooh and ah the whole time.
What's the speed, Dianne?
Fast. It's between 850 and 1020. So 900, 1,000.
Somewhere in there?
What's that?
Somewhere in there?
It's the belt setting. That's what its range is. Yeah. At home, I have a variable speed. So I would usually do this part at like 700. That's good enough for now. The next thing I want to do, so that part's really quick. Now it's round. Ooh, that's really punky. This might get fun.
Can you tell us what you're using, what gouge?
Oh, I have very few tools. So I have 2 half-inch bowl gouges, and I have 2 3/8" bowl gouges. And for the mortise, I have a skew that I'm going to use, and I have a scraper because I'm better at scraping than patient with sanding. All right, so now I'm going to take a minute to do some measurements. The first thing I want to do is figure out what the top of the plate's going to look like. You can see there's a big chunk taken out here, so I want to mark where the top is going to end up being. All right, so that's good. I'm going to make a rim to the platter, so I want to give myself a 1/4 inch for that. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that on here. Oops. And then for the bottom, this part is, I'm going to have a recess that I'm going to flip it over to, and you'll see that in just a second. But I'm using this 4-jaw chuck that Paul gave me. And it's important to know, like, I can't have the opening. This has a narrow range. It's like 3.5 inches to 4 inches maximum. So I want to have as much contact surface area when it's mounted in there. And I also want to leave a little bit of space in there because as I'm carving it out, I want to be able to put my jaws through there and measure the depth of the platter itself. So it's important not to keep it completely closed. So that's the next thing I'm going to mark on here. I've actually marked up my ruler because I've done 10 platters like Roland says I'm supposed to. I've probably done more than that. So, let's see. That should be this piece. And then unlike a bowl, when you're turning a bowl, it's usually the base is like 1/3 and the rest of it is 2/3. With a platter, you want the base to be kind of broad because you're going to be using the whole surface of the platter. So you don't want it to be tippy because the base is pretty narrow. So it's recommended it's like 1/2 inch to 2/3 rather than like with a bowl, again, it would be 1/3. And Alan made me this nifty tool. So I can go ahead and take the diameter of the platter, and this is about 1/3, that's about 2/3, and just go ahead and center that up. So next I'm going to connect from the outside. Oh, you guys can't see this. I just made 2 circles on the bottom. So I'm going to go from the outside of the foot to the bottom of the platter. and I'm just gonna start carving it away, but use my body to make kind of gentle sweeping cuts to have like a nice curve as it goes. It is really punky on this end, and I hope we make it through. A little bit closer.
That thing doesn't stop, huh?
Yeah, it takes a while. Alright, so that's not bad. This piece is still really punky. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But I have like a nice little OG curve here. I think I'm just going to, rather than go over it, no, I'm going to go over it with a 3/8 inch, and then I'll crisp this end up a little bit. Now I'm just going to touch it up with the scraper. Alright, so now I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to go through and hollow out the center. The rattle. So there are a couple of tool marks on here. It's not terrible. I'm pretty happy with it. And again, this punky part's a little fuzzy, but you get what you pay for at these demos.
If anybody's noticing those chips that are coming off that bowl, that's not an accident. Her tools are sharp. And if you have sharp tools, that can happen.
Oh, thank you, Roland. Yeah, I sharpened these before I came. That was like part of the consideration. Again, kudos to Roland to say to make 10 of something. Something I didn't consider is normally I would turn the bottom of the bowl and I would go sharpen my tools, and then I would come back and I would turn the other side. I can't do that today. So I have to be like a little frugal with my tools because I can't turn around and sharpen it. So I showed up with two that are pretty sharp. I'm only using one for the bottom and hopefully the other one for the top, and that's all we get. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and carve out this bottom. Yeah. like about turning, there we go, turning platters is I have a flat surface for the jaws to rest in when I do the expansion fitting, but there's like a whole little bit left over in here that I have some design options to. I can make like a little button, I can have an indent, I can have texturing, like there's a lot that you can do with that space. If you had like a, one of those carbide tools just to make your circle, like now would be the time to go ahead and do this. I'm pretty happy with how this looks. Couple of measurements that I need to do. Most is important is to make sure that it's flat and it's resting on the outside of this rim, which it's not. Right now I can see it's kind of high in the center. I don't want that. I don't want it, remember I said I want the widest space possible, so I gotta trim that up. And also to make sure that this center is not gonna be coming out from the bottom. So I got a little bit of trimming to do. Alright, that's really good. Unfortunately, I trimmed it, but now I've lost the depth of that recess. I want to make sure that's, I like a 1/4 inch, but that's a big recess, so at least 1/8 to 1/4. So I'm going to go back with the skew and hit that one more time. The tool. I'm terrified that that made my opening a little too wide, but let's see. I hope we're good. I take it off. Huh? It takes a long time. So that's good. Oh man, that was a big skip. I need magnet gloves. We might not make it.
Do you use just 4/4 stock your bowls, or they have to be thicker?
Man, I went too thick. What's that? 4/4 is nice. This I just cut from a log. So I had a little skip and I had to make it bigger. I'm not fitting right now, which stinks. So what I'm gonna have to do, just for the demo purpose, I'm gonna make a second recess in here that we can grip to, just so I can keep going. But at home, I was gonna bring them and I'm like, no, you'll be fine. I have a different set of jaws that I could swap out for these and make it a little bit wider, but no one likes doing that. I'm just gonna put a second groove in here. good fit. I'm gonna make it a little bit deeper. So if I were at home and had all the time in the world, I would probably just take this whole thing down a little bit and start over again. Like carve out a new foot here and just start. Do you guys mind if I do that now? You okay if I do
You're
that?
not gonna run out of bottom when you turn it around?
I don't think so. Maybe I'll just leave it like this.
You got a double step now.
Hmm?
You got a double step.
It's a double step, yeah. Me too. All right, so one last time, make sure it can fit. For anyone who's taller than 5'2", I hope you appreciate your height, that you don't have to keep going up and down off a pallet when we're turning. There we go. Bless you. That looks good. All right, so, bless you.
Allergic to wood.
So at this point, again, if I were home, I would completely finish it. I would go ahead and sand the bottom, put any texturing that I wanted to do, oil it, wax it. Like, now's the time to do it because it's accessible, it's open, and once you flip it, that's not gonna happen again. All right, so now, this is the tool I was convinced I was gonna forget to bring. So, again, back to, I keep saying Roland's name, but he's really helpful. Part of my practice of making 10 of them was at like 3 and 4 kept flying off the lathe. And I'm like, that's not a good thing for a live demo. And I found if I take the tailstock and I bring it up as I'm mounting this, it puts nice pressure on it and really gets it to lock in. So, that is the only time I need the tailstock for this piece. Put it in mostly.
Are you putting a lot of pressure on that,
I'm
Diane?
putting a lot of pressure. I don't want this to come off.
I agree, because
I am
it's kind
sitting
of
over here.
No. Maybe we should move all the experienced wood turners.
Didn't bring your catcher's mitt?
Not big hands.
Come on, Diane, I got faith in you.
No, I didn't.
Everybody else does it, but I do.
All right, before I pull this back, I'm gonna do a quick on and off to make sure it's on there. Looks nice. All right, so the next part is probably the most important thing about doing a platter, in my opinion, is that right now the outside is a little bit wobbly compared to the center, and the more wood I take away from the center, the more wobbly this is gonna get. It's gonna be unsupported. So I wanna decide what I'm gonna do with the rim, do the rim, finish it, and then don't go back. because if you don't, if you decide to go back and you wanna put in a texturing or something, you're gonna find it's just out of whack and you can't do it. So now's the time to just pay attention to this. So I'm gonna put a marking, just kind of eyeballing from the bottom to the top. I think I want the rim to be about here.
Diane, is there any disadvantage to keeping that tailstock on?
I'm gonna be like over here a bit,
Okay.
so it's just in the way. You can absolutely work around it, but I've been practicing not doing it. And actually with my lathe, the tailstock swings away, so I'm actually at home working out here.
Okay.
So it's actually different to me to have it in place.
You want that taken off? Take it off.
It's okay, I think. Yeah, it's okay. I had trouble when I was doing the bottom before because that was in the way, but we're good. The other thing I think for beginners especially, when setting up the banjo, because we're gonna be looking at the face of this and trying to keep it straight, if this is straight to begin with and this is straight, that's gonna give you kind of two lines of sight to play with, versus if this is askew and then I'm trying to line it up. So when possible, I try to get it like lined up as a second line of sight. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is flatten, where did I put my circle? So you can hear that that's very chattery. It's not very level at all yet. So I'm just gonna work the rim. I decide I'm gonna have from here, just out there, and a teeny bit in, but I'm gonna leave the rest alone until that part's done.
Wonder why no one sits here.
What's happening?
I said from this angle, it looks like shooting stars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a bump there, it's not done. Yeah, there's a big gouge right here. I forgot to say something. A lot of times with platters, especially the bigger ones, I like putting a bead or something on the outer edge or the inner edge. Think about that before you start taking this away. If you want it on the outer edge, like leave a little bit there. I still have a chunk to work with. I might leave a little bead at the transition point from the rim to the platter itself, but I'm not sure yet. But anyway, just keep that in mind when you're doing it. If you wanted to have some embellishment on the outside, leave that behind. Pretty good, if I do say so myself. There is a crack starting here, so I don't know what to do. I brought glue. Maybe I'm gonna glue that real quick.
Wood curtains don't go anywhere without seeing.
Oh, I know. just don't want it to crack and fly. My insurance isn't that good. Oh, that was something I was taught to do. If you're gonna put stain, oil, glue, put something on the lathe. Don't let the drippings from that get on the lathe, because then it's gonna like destroy it over time. All right, last thing I'm gonna do for the rim part is this outside edge, and just round it up and true it up. If sometimes I like to have like a little round over, maybe you want a sharp curve, whatever you want to do, like take care of that now before moving on. That's super glue strong. All right, home stretch. I like how that looks, so I'm gonna leave it alone. And I'm gonna go ahead and start carving out the center. To Roland's point, I wanna know how much space I have, because I have this double recess. I don't have much. This will be fun. And also I have screw holes to get rid of, so we'll see. Push back, no. We'll see how it goes. So I got a lot of screw hole left. I can't stress enough how many times, even with a slow break, it's important to really stop and kind of check where you are. There, we're good. So I'm going to start taking away the middle, but I'm going to start doing it with a sweeping motion to try to establish that curve as the transition. I'm not thinking I'm going to be able to go all the way down with this, but I'm going to start doing that motion. The other thing is I'm going across with it. When I'm doing like taking the plate off, I have like a pretty good grip on the top of it. When I'm doing the push cut across the face, I don't want like a death grip on it. I just want to like let my body kind of push it forward, and this hand's only holding it to the tool rest. That's all that hand is really doing. So don't have a depth grip, because now this hand is doing more than just like guiding it along. leave it tall just for the demonstration part, but just level it off. I don't want to break through anything. Switching out for my sharpest tool that I haven't used yet, so final finish is that. Check. Yeah, I'm gonna do one more pass and that's it. You can still see the screw holes, but again, I had the mess up on the bottom. At this part, I think it's kind of weird, but it's a little bit high in the middle, and almost always when I'm turning a plate, it's a little bit high in the middle, and I have to take that out. If I look at it as I'm doing it, it's ambiguous. If you look away and feel it, you know every bump in there. So I suggest don't look at it, feel it, touch it, and you can say, okay, yeah, that's where it has to come. Right now it's pretty obvious in the middle here, but as I go through, sometimes it's just a little spot on the rim. Just, again, don't look away and just trust your fingers are gonna know what they're doing. All right, one more finishing cut, and then we're gonna call it.
You can always put little holly dowels in the holes and call it a new design.
There you go, yeah. Yeah, I might fill it with something, you know, I'm not sure, I'll take it home, but it's
If you use pea soup, it'll plug it right up.
pea soup, coffee grounds. All right, one more last cut. It's better, it's so high, but I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm gonna stop here.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone have any questions?
What do you have for final thickness on that?
Oh, the final thickness? And
Can you grab that?
oh, it's the double. Can you hold it? This way. Plenty. Plenty. But you can see the scroll holes are right behind. I'll pass it around.
So much transparent.
In your design there, you got a bead there, so is the bead above the rim?
So
Was that your intention, have the bead above the rim?
it was not my intention. Usually the inside is gonna be the rim and then this nice transition to the bottom, but because I had to take away more of the bottom, I didn't have that luxury.
I'm just thinking it'd be nice to have that bead, you know, the rim down, then the bead come up, and then go down.
Yeah, I like something at the transition because sometimes when I'm sanding from the rim inside the plate, it gets too sanded out and too smooth. I like looking at the platter and saying like, no, it's a sharp transition. That's actually something I wanted to mention. When you're doing things like a platter, like the recess at the bottom or something, there's some crisp edges to it. And if you go at that with your drill sander, you're gonna like eliminate a lot of those touches. So I always have like, here's a piece of a yoga mat and some hand sandpaper that I'll just go and like fold in like a crisp corner and sand some of the edges that way, just so it doesn't like lose the definition of the corners. All right.